Last week we talked about plateaus and how plateaus can be a time where you feel like you're just not making any progress. But there's something else that can make you feel like you're not making any progress, and believe it or not, it's when you're winning. This weekend in Escrima, we were doing some drills, specifically some footwork drills. And I've seen this many times, not just in Escrima, not just this weekend. I've seen it with all kinds of people. I see it all the time, this problem that actually holds people back a lot more than they realize. And it's because I see people trying to win the drill. They're trying to win their training, and you can't win training. The only way to win training is to improve yourself. If you're not making progress, if you're not improving, if you're not getting the skill that the drill is trying to provide for you, then you're not winning. You're losing, but it can feel like you're winning because you're doing something else. In this case, we're doing footwork, and we're doing footwork while working strikes with the sticks, and we're doing all of this. And I see different people on the mat trying to make sure that their strike or their counter strike is always landing, and they're slipping this strike in, and they're winning. Right? That's what's happening, is they're feeling like they're winning because they landed a hit that somebody couldn't defend or something like that. Which is fine if the goal of the drill was to land a hit that someone couldn't defend. But in this case, the drill was to improve your footwork and to utilize footwork. So when you stop doing your footwork so that you can land a hit that makes you feel like you've won, you've actually lost. You've actually taken the win away from yourself because now you're not actually improving. You're not getting the skill that the drill was trying to provide to you. When you get on the mat, when you train, and it's training, right? We're training. We're trying to become better. We're trying to improve our abilities. And oftentimes that has to be to isolate and work specifically, restrictively, so that we focus on individual things. And then we put those things together to become the skill that we're trying to have, the total skill we're trying to have. But if we focus on something that the drill's not trying to provide, and we continue to try to win with our partner, we get lost. We get lost in it. We lose track of the thing we were trying to improve, of the thing that we're trying to do better, of the thing, in this case, that the coach is trying to help you improve on. And so we're not winning. And guess what? Over time, just like when we talked about the plateaus, this can be a thing that can even lead to a plateau where you're constantly feeling like you did something, but you're just not getting any better. And it's because you're not doing the drills for their intended purpose. You're getting caught up in the ego where you don't want to lose, as if there was such a thing when you're training. You don't want to lose. You don't want to get hit. You don't want to be the person who couldn't land a hit or something like that. You don't want to fail. But we need to fail. We need to fail to find the information that we need to succeed. If we try to correct, if we try to make sure that we just have no failure. Another drill that we did was moving. It was a rotational drills, footwork, angling type footwork. And it's easy to do. It's not a difficult drill. But to become really good at it, you've got to internalize it and focus on yourself instead of the room. A lot of people can, when they're doing different things, they start to use anchors in the room, other things, or other people around them as ways to determine if they're doing the right thing. I face this wall at this point in this drill, or I match what this person's doing. So we did it eyes closed. But we talked about how some people, as they were doing eyes closed, every couple of moves, they'd open their eyes to make sure that they were on track, rather than trust themselves to do the drill the way they know how to do it, the way they were just doing it, and better yet, to fail the drill. If they open their eyes and they're not in the right place, not where they should have been, then there's information there that you gain, things that you learn through that failure that allow you to refine what you're doing and make it better. So if we continue to cheat, to become, to appear as though we've done the drill perfect and we've just nailed it, we've actually robbed ourselves of the information that would actually make us better, make us improve. We should want to fail. We should want to not succeed so that we have the ability to learn from that, gather information that's required so that we can succeed. We can exceed exponentially we can succeed. That's what we need. So when you're doing the drill, understand the objective. Don't lose sight of that objective. Continue to push forward to make yourself better at that one thing. Yeah. Are there other things happening in the drill? Probably. Many drills have multifaceted components to them, so you're doing multiple things. But the object of the drill might be very specific. I have very often used the same drill to teach many things just by changing the objective or the focus of the drill, even though it's the same drill you did last week for a different objective or a different focus. That's natural, and it makes sense if you look at it that way. But if you lose that objective and you don't find it, you don't focus on it while you're working, or you get caught up in some other thing that you're doing in that drill that doesn't have anything to do with the objective, you'll get lost. You'll lose your way. And you won't make the progress you're trying to make, or you'll wonder why when it felt like you did it perfect and you keep getting corrected, and it's because you're not focused on the right thing. So quit trying to win. You're not trying to win. If you're working with a partner, your goal isn't to overcome them. Your goal isn't to get the last hit in. Your goal isn't to be faster, and most of the time when people do that, they are actually utilizing a shortcoming of the drill, right? Where maybe you're doing some light sparring or something like that, but because you're light, because you're compliant with each other, you're able to do things that you shouldn't have been able to do, that wouldn't have worked. Or in the case that we were doing some multi-opponent stuff a little bit, and sometimes you can move into places that you shouldn't move, but because nobody's punishing you for it, that you don't really realize that you shouldn't have done that because you're getting lost. You're slipping off into a different focus, which is, I can move quickly over here and I can do this or do that. And I'm skipping the drill, and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not learning what I'm supposed to be learning. And meanwhile, I'm also not learning the lessons that are being lost to me because of a compliant partner or set of partners. That compliance, that lack of resistance in that certain way. You can have resistance one way for the objective, and a lack of resistance another way because it's not pertaining to the objective. And you're not learning those lessons either. You're putting yourself in danger, or you're doing something incorrectly that wouldn't work because you're not recognizing that there's more to these drills, there's more to these moments, and the fact that they're not real time, right? Nothing about training is designed to hurt you or put you in danger. When you train, there are ways to elevate it, to amplify. But at the end, there's always training scars that just aren't getting you there. It's a combination of the drills and the skills that you build that allow you to improve, that cover up these scars and train to build these different things. And you gotta do them all, but you gotta do them all for their individual purpose. So the next time you're training, the next time you're doing a drill, try really hard to understand the objective of that drill. Understand why you're doing it, what you hope to improve from it. Maybe even go so far as to try to understand how to measure whether or not you are improving from it, and then put in the work. Make the assessment, test that measurement, and then do the work again and see if you can improve that thing. And for a while, just ignore or forget the things that aren't relevant to the objective. You don't have to be good at everything at once. If you're doing something really complicated with your feet, maybe now's not the time to really focus on what your hands are doing. Maybe it's time to focus on what your feet are doing. And maybe it's time to let the drills and the coach get you where you're trying to go. Keep your focus. Find the objective. Keep training, but don't try to win, and you'll continue to succeed.